Welcome back to week 4 of the building of Extinction, a digital residency with the Beaverbrook Art Gallery in Fredericton, New Brunswick. As you saw from last week, we were doing the carving of the pieces, which is a loud and noisy prospect and difficult to narrate over. So I thought this week we'd take a look at some of the results of the carving. These are the pelvis bones of the dinosaur that I'll be building. They're some of the largest bones on the project, and there's a pair of them, a left one and a right one. And they'll be more easily read once we see them installed in the actual installation. The feet, like our own feet and hands, contain a lot of bones, and so they were interesting to carve and get the right proportions. They'll be eventually joined together with an internal tubing system that'll hold the toes and the finger bones together. With the claws, I decided to give them a more sanded and polished finish because I thought it was more indicative of the nature of those type of anatomical parts. The leg bones are also really quite large. They're about 3 feet long, sometimes a foot in diameter, and they really take on the stereotypical, almost cartoonish characteristic of a real large, animal bone, the kind of Flintstone styles bone that you would see, or the kind of a bone that would give to your dog. It's got a very prehistoric look to it, and they were actually quite surprisingly detailed to carve, and all the grooves and that allowed for the muscle attachments and things like that. But I was pretty satisfied with their turnout. The neck bones and the rib bones are also an interesting challenge because they have to nest into each other. So the ribs are attached to vertebrae pieces and the neck bones extend upward, and they also have these large protrusions that would have supported the neck on the animals. And they were quite interesting to carve, and I had to really be careful about scaling from one size to another. The ribs would increase in size and then decrease in size, but they such an interesting sculptural form to look at. And then, as you can see, when they're put outside where they're allowed to dry and cure, they're quite attractive even on their own, but they'll be even more impressive when they're finally assembled into the final dinosaur. As we always do, we'd like to thank our sponsors for this project, the Beaverbrook Art Gallery, for hosting this residency, the Bonavista Biennale, where Extinction will debut this August in the Newfoundland Peninsula of Bonavista, the Canada Council for the Arts for funding this project, and the Prince Edward Island Department of Culture for also funding our project.